In this video, I'm going to guide you through conducting a thorough financial review of your private practice. In order to complete a financial review, you are going to need to gather all of the financial information for your practice. Now, I would suggest doing this on a monthly basis for a few reasons. First of all, it's going to spread the work over the year. You don't want to get to the end of the year and then having to do all the administration of finding out what your revenue was and what your expenses were and all that kind of stuff. You're going to be able to notice issues sooner and also spot patterns. You're going to have the opportunity to cut down on your spending if required much sooner than if you leave it to the end of the year. And you're going to get a much better understanding of the financial health of your practice throughout the year. So if you'd like help doing this in the future, I do have a sole trader bookkeeping template that I really think is going to help you. So this template allows you to input all of your revenue and your expenses so you can very clearly see what the financial health of your practice is on a month-by-month basis. I've sold this template over 100 times and given it to many more therapists in private practice who have worked with me. So I can assure you that it is a really great template for you. It's super easy to use. And if you buy it before the end of April, I also have a free co-working session that you can come to on May the 7th, in which I'm going to be there live so that I can show you how to input all of your figures. You can have time to input all of your figures from the previous month, and I'll also be there to answer questions as well. Like I said, this co-working hour is completely free if you buy the template before the end of April. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help therapists in private practice get online, get confident with admin and reduce tech overwhelm. Just a quick caveat for you, I'm not an accountant and I'm not trained to give any financial advice. This is just anecdotal advice for you based on me running my own business for the past 8 years and also assisting therapists in private practice with their finances using my bookkeeping spreadsheet. So the first thing I want to just explain is the language that I'm going to be using. So if you are a sole trader in the UK, it means you are responsible for 100% of your profits, even if you don't take 100% of your profits for yourself. So how do you get profit? You need your revenue, and this can sometimes be called turnover, but I like to use the term revenue. And that is what's coming into your practice. So that is your client work and anything else that you charge for. So that's what's coming in. You then have your expenses. So this is what you are spending out. So this can be on any systems you use, any online systems like Zoom or Google Workspace. It can be if you outsource on a virtual assistant. It can be on your training. There's lots of things that can go into your expenses. And what's left is your profit. So that is what you are taxed on. You are taxed on that full amount. So let's say you have a profit of £40,000. If you only take £36,000 for yourself, so let's say you take £3,000 a month, that £4,000 left over in your account, you are still going to be taxed on. So you are taxed on your full profit, even if you do not take that for yourself. So the first thing that I'd love you to take a look at is your revenue. Was it what you were expecting? If you have done any kind of planning for your revenue to know how much that you needed in your practice, did it match? Did it come short, or did you get more than you were expecting? And if needed, how could you improve on this? So one way you could improve on this is by taking on more clients. And another way is by upping your fees. It could also be having a different revenue stream, whether this is offering a different service like group therapy, or whether it's moving more into multiple income streams and looking at things like digital products or online courses. You do definitely have some influence over your revenue, but just remember that this can affect the time that you are spending in your practice. So if you're going to offer more sessions, that is going to take up more time. So is there something you can do that's not going to take as much time away from you, but is going to bring in more revenue? So the next thing to do is to analyze your expenses. It's important to analyze your expenses because sometimes it's actually easier to make cost savings and make a deduction in your expenses than it is to increase your revenue, at least in the short term. So if you look at all of your expenses, do you really require all of the expenses that are on there? If there are apps and things like that that you have signed up to, are you making the most of them? Or is there a different system that you can use that's going to be better for you, more suited, and is also going to save you money? I did this year and I had a look at all of the systems that I was using. And I've been using a platform called Dubsado to manage all of my contracts, kind of like a CRM. It's not something I would recommend for therapists in private practice, but I used it because I didn't have regular bookings with clients. It was more on a project basis. It also enabled me to have links that people can book in with me so that they can have discovery calls and admin audits and things like that. And it's quite expensive. It's around £400 a year. And as I'm moving away from working with clients one-to-one, I realized that I don't actually need the system anymore. So instead, I cancelled that. And I bought a lifetime access to TidyCal because all I really need is a way for people to be able to book in with me for those appointments that I talked about. It also offers paid appointments, so people can choose an appointment they want to have with me and pay for it there and then, which I did once. But I don't need all of the added bells and whistles. I don't need all of the project management side of things because that's not what I am working towards for my business. So I was able to cut out £400 a year just by removing one system. And I did this with a few other things too. So is there anything that you can completely cut out or where you can reduce your spending? If you're using my bookkeeping template, you can very easily put things into categories so that you can see the percentage of what you're spending. So what percentage of your expenses are spent on online systems? What percentage is spent on outsourcing? What percentage did you spend on your own training and CPD, things like that? So that can also be really helpful just to see where you are spending the most money based on the categories. And then finally, you want to analyze your profit. So remember, profit is the revenue minus expenses. And what you want to make sure is that you are not taking all of that profit for yourself. Otherwise, you are not going to have a very good cash flow in your business. And cash flow basically is money in versus money out. You want to make sure you have enough buffer in your account that you can pay for all of your expenses. You also want to make sure that you're leaving enough for tax. So whether you leave that in your business bank account or whether you take it out and then put it into a separate account and you save that up throughout the year, but you want to make sure that you are leaving enough to cover your tax. So first of all, are you happy with what you are able to draw from your business as a salary? If no, you do want to have a look at whether you need to increase your revenue, lower your expenses, or a mixture of the both, so that you can take more money for yourself from the business. If you have quite a large amount of excess money left over, so let's say you take what you want from the business and you're happy about that, you don't really need to take much more, and you have quite a lot left over, could you think about ways that you could spend that money that's going to benefit you and your practice and also reduce your tax bill? So this could be things like investing in better systems. So maybe you're ready for an EHR like Power Diary and you can now invest in that platform. Maybe it means that you can actually outsource some of the administration of your practice and actually hire someone to work with you. Maybe it means more training. So this could be with regards to therapy itself, or it could be in other things. So maybe you want to look at multiple income streams, working in groups, doing a marketing course or a social media course, something that's going to benefit your practice that's not related to the therapy side of it. And finally, you want to set some financial goals for the upcoming year. It's really important to understand the financial health of your practice in the past so that you can make financial goals for the future. This can be in any of the things that I've talked about: new systems for your practice, outsourcing, looking at your pensions and investments and savings, planning for practice growth and future training. So it can really help you decide on the direction that you're going to go in for the following year if you understand what the financial health is currently. I'd really encourage you to develop an action plan around anything that you have identified in this process. So whether that is looking at your revenue and how to increase it, your expenses and how to either reduce that or increase it to help you in your private practice, and also having a look at your overall profit and what you can do with that money. In conclusion, please don't shy away from your finances. A quote that I love is, "Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored." Even if you choose to outsource this part of your practice, whether that's to an accountant, a bookkeeper, or even your VA, I would really encourage you to look at the data on a monthly basis. I've worked with so many clients that have an accountant and they just do the finances at the end of the year. And to me, that's just too late. It's too late to make decisions, and it means that you're so much slower in being able to react to something that's happening. So if you do seek the help of an accountant, please make sure that you have monthly bookkeeping or monthly financial updates included in the package. It's going to be really important for you. And if you are completely alone in this and doing it all yourself, please consider buying my bookkeeping template. You can get the link in the description below. I have it in pounds on the website, but you can also get it in euros and in US dollars. So if you need it in a different format, please just let me know once you purchase it and I'll send that right to you. And if you buy it by the end of April, you can come to this free co-working session with me on May the 7th, where you'll be able to meet with me, ask questions, and we'll be able to process your first month's worth of expenses and revenue and all the stuff. I really hope you found this video useful as a start to looking at a financial review of your private practice. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.